What's up, everybody? It's Hardy Construction. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, as well as Facebook. But if you Google us, you'll find us eventually with your host, Compan.
Mallory Knox.
Today's film is...
Ma. 2019.
Ma, 2019. A lonely woman befriends a group of teenagers and decides to let them party at her house. Just when the kids think their luck couldn't get any better, things start happening that make them question the intention of their host. Directed by Tate Taylor, written by Scotty Landez, starring Octavia Spencer, Diana Silvers, Juliette Lewis, and a whole bunch of other people.
And produced by Blumhouse, which is shocking.
I honestly, I don't think it's that shocking. They'll make any horror movie.
I don't know. This is the first one where I was like, oh, okay.
So, Danny, why did you pick Ma?
Because it's in theaters right now. I was trying to be contemporary.
I actually went to a movie theater and saw this.
I went to a movie theater. I spent $16.
Oh, who did you go with?
I went with my friend Greg.
Oh, what did Greg think of this?
We agreed.
Okay. Honestly, like when I saw this, I said like, wow, this movie really blew every movie away. But like if I was to say this movie, hold on, but I'll say like this movie blew every other film away if you take out the word every other film away. So then you just say this movie blew. That's like what it was. That was a long way to get to that joke.
It's good.
So yes,
it was a good joke.
I had wanted to see this because it surprisingly had a black female villain protagonist, or what, I guess she's not really the protagonist. Antagonist in the film. Usually protagonist is like for the main person of the film, but it's actually that little young white girl that's the protagonist, I guess. And I was like, oh shit, I've never seen that before. I've never seen sort of a horror movie with a black lead that's female, really. You know what I mean? It's always the only other one I can remember is really Candyman, or the fantastic Killjoy movie, the first one.
Oh,
they turned him into a white guy in the rest of the movies.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want to see this. Then I just kept hearing, it's not that good. It's not that good. It's not that good. It's not that good. Then I was like,
See, I'm like a little disappointed because I thought it was going to be good.
Yeah, no, same here. I thought it was going to be good. And, well, after I heard all that stuff, I heard the middling review.
If this was a short film, it would have been good.
It felt like a short film. I literally saw
a really long short
film. The movie's about an hour and a half, and it stars Octavia Spencer. And Octavia Spencer is an award-winning. I think she won an Oscar. Let me see.
You were saying for The Help.
I don't know if it was for The Help. Actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it was for The Help. Actually, so she was in this movie The Help, and she really blew up. She's been around for a long time, and she's one of those sort of actors that you can. She's a dependable actor. Sort of like, there's like about 4 or 5 African American actors that you could see them in every film, and you're like, oh yeah, they're good. But the thing is, they're always relegated to the same fucking.
I'm reading about the development of this right now on Wikipedia, and it's just like, it's so dumb. I don't know what they were thinking. It's it's talking about how Jason Blum's friends with the guy that wrote the script, and he's saying, oh, I want to make something really fucked up, so he gets the movie. It's like, well, why don't you read the script before giving him the movie? Like, so this is horrible.
The movies, his Blumhouse, they don't go above $9 million, I think, in funding.
Yeah, but everything they make is good until now, in my opinion.
So she won the Academy Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role in The Help, so that's good. But like I was saying, for black female actors, they're not really given that much of sort of expansive roles. Like, her role in The Help is a woman who's like a maid.
She was good at acting.
She is good. She is very good, actually.
There was no bad acting in this movie.
Pretty good. And the thing is, but black women are either put in a power of authority role, or a best friend, or like the help. That's like, that they use that magical person trope. That they like, oh, they know everything, they're so smart, but they're not the lead of the film.
Right.
So I thought, it could be interesting to see a black female lead as the villain in the film, because you don't really see that.
And it wasn't interesting.
And it was a piece of shit movie. It's just like
it's not because of that. It's just
like, I was watching it, and it's one of those things, and I guess it's supposed to build up and make you feel paranoia, like you see,
I compared it to this movie I saw recently called Swim Fan 84, which is a terrible movie.
The whole movie's not called 84. It's just called Swim Fan.
Her name is called
right, yeah,
her screen name. It's about a same sort of idea. Stalker.
Yeah, I was playing at the theater when I was used to work at a movie theater.
Yeah, and that was like a garbage movie, but honestly, it was comparable to this.
It was funny because after I saw this, I was like, was like, well, this is worse than The Perfection in a way, because at least The Perfection, the first 20 minutes, stuff happens.
I'm trying to remember The Perfection. I know we just watched it. I just can't even recall.
The girls on the bus.
Yeah.
And this one, I was just like,
this was worse.
This is
because you know what it was. There's like an hour of nothing. There's an hour of nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Because the film is trying to. We'll get to the story and a plot in a second, but the film is trying to ramp up this sort of paranoia and showing this woman being crazy, and then it's like nothing for an hour, partying, her going nuts, partying. But there's no. They could have peppered this film with a bunch of kills throughout it, not just a build up. And
they could have easily shaved off like 20 minutes easily.
Oh, yeah. So this film is about a new girl in school. Her name is a new girl in town called. She's played by Diana Silver. She's a very pretty girl. She's playing a character named Maggie. She's moving into town with her mother, Juliette Lewis, I guess, after a divorce.
Isn't it so weird seeing Juliette Lewis that old?
It is.
It's very interesting.
It is. It's like, wait a minute, how old am I?
The last time I saw her was like Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, or Mickey and Mallory movie.
Yeah. Well, that's what was my name when I signed on.
Stuff like that. So Juliette Lewis is also. I think Juliette Lewis actually has given up acting for the most part and is in a rock band that does pretty well.
Oh, cool.
She actually did a couple of tracks off of I think it was the second to last Prodigy album.
Oh, really?
She sang a lot on it. It's actually a good album too. It's like the Prodigy, not the rap group, but the techno group from the UK.
I didn't know there was a rap group called Prodigy.
Yeah, there's a rapper called the Prodigy, and these guys are called the Prodigy. So that's the difference, I guess. Anyway, so yes, it is strange to see Juliette Lewis in this mom role, even though she's been sort of a mom role for a long time.
Her band is called The Licks, Juliette and The Licks.
They actually made a documentary about her band, The Licks, and it actually looked pretty neat. But
she's cool. I've always thought
she's cool. She's cool. Anyway, so Maggie is getting along with her new friends, Haley, Andy. There's the guy who plays her love interest in the film actually looks like a teenager, which actually threw me off. Like, I've never seen somebody that actually looked their age in a long time.
Yeah.
Like when you see stuff like Stranger Things, like they actually pick 12-year-olds because you can't have an 18-year-old playing a 12-year-old. But to have kids do fucked up shit in movies, you have to have like a 19 or 20, even 30 years old playing a 15-year-old in a movie recently, like Scream. Just look at those movies. And the actors are considerably older. And these kids sort of look age appropriate, sort of. They look a little bit. They maybe look.
I thought they did a pretty good job. They're realistic looking.
Yeah,
they're
realistic teenagers, and it was funny because then like the film starts out and Maggie's starting into school and her mother's like working at a casino at a job she hates. And anyway, so everybody apparently has moved back to this small town, and Maggie initially she helps this young African American girl in a wheelchair around, and I was like, that must be Ma's daughter. That's all, because
I didn't think that actually.
Only in this universe, there's only 3 black characters in this universe, and which is Ma, her daughter, and one of her friends, which is played by Dante Brown.
When I saw it in theaters, the reactions in the theater to that were so funny.
About what? The wheelchair scene?
No, when she painted his face. Because it was like there was this black couple right next to me, and they're talking throughout the movie, like making all this commentary, which was pretty funny. But then at that point, they're like, "What the fuck?" It was so funny.
Yeah, because I don't know. I guess they were trying to make some sort of. I don't know if it was supposed to be some statement. This is direct.
He got it off easy. That's all he got.
He did. I know. Maybe that paint.
People getting their lips sewn and stabbed, and he just got some paint on his face.
Yeah, right. Maybe that's a true humiliation. He kills himself after the movie.
Maybe.
And anyway, so
or it's unerasable.
The director of this film made The Help, and the film that she won the Academy Award for, and so she must have been like, oh no, this guy at least has talent or something, because like the movies like The Help, they're sort of like people. Like, a lot of people like it, but then a lot of like people that are on the outside of Hollywood tend to hate it because they think those are movies that make white people feel good about race relations, not just both races. Like, there's people like I
don't know what it's about. I'm assuming it's about like Jim Crow laws or something.
About a group of African American women that are maids. I'm just guessing, not guessing, but from what I've seen was these women in the 50s, obviously dealing with these racist,
like Jim Crow law
and shit. Yeah, and then some magical white person is helping them achieve their dreams, just shit like that, just like The Green Book, which is about a rich black pianist who hires a white Brooklyn guy to drive him around in racist 50s. And so a lot of people have problems with those type of films that are like, oh, this is a safe white person movie that can see race relations this way and not how it really is. Like, oh, the world can be better. And then, as opposed to like Black Klansman, which is about a Jewish guy and a black guy infiltrating the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
And Spike Lee's all had me laughing about that was Spike Lee because he threw a fucking temper tantrum because he lost basically the Oscar to the Green Book, which is I guess a race friendly type of film, and he refused to sit down. And I'm like, it's like, are you really like that upset? Because the first time he was up for an Oscar, he lost to Driving Miss Daisy, which is another type of. Like a black guy going, oh, Miss Daisy, I'm going to drive you over here. It's Morgan Freeman with an old white lady, and he's like subservient to her. So then this is second time out of 20 or so years later, and he loses it. And he starts throwing a bitch fit. And I'm like, are you really that upset? Like, that you're losing? You want to be recognized by white people that much? Who gives a fuck? Like, really,
Hollywood, the whole Oscar process is so
full
stupid.
Of shit, all of it.
I haven't watched it in years.
These are people who play like they don't care about it, and then all of a sudden you throw a bitch fit because you didn't win an award by your own people. Who gives a fuck? Of course you're gonna lose because that's like, people want to see the Green Book. They want to fantasize that the world's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I just don't even know what's winning Oscars anymore, but I haven't seen the majority of them.
If Blade Runner 2049 didn't win, I wasn't interested at all. It won for cinematography, which is good. But anyway, so this director did that. An Oscar-winning film. I don't know if it won the film of the year, but it won awards. So, especially for the cast and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And he makes this film, and you're like, wow. Like, if this guy's working with, I guess, that material that people enjoyed, and then he's doing the total opposite, and he's trying to make a horror film. Because like, if you look at an Oscar winner, or try to like, or if you see films made by actual filmmakers making horror films, like think about Suspiria.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell that's a fucking filmmaker making a horror film. Do you know
what
I
mean? Yeah.
That's Luca Guadagnino who won. I don't think he won an award.
That's such a good movie.
For that film, Call Me by Your Name, which was like a gay romance film.
Okay.
That was up for Oscars, and then he tries his hand at a horror film. And you see that movie? You saw Suspiria?
Yeah.
Remember that?
We saw that. Yeah.
That was. I'm just saying. You see that movie compared to this movie?
Oh yeah.
These are two like Oscar caliber directors.
I guess the problem is this guy's trying to make a horror movie instead of a movie that is scary.
Right. What he thinks a horror film is.
Yeah.
What he thinks is like ratcheting up the paranoia or the.
I just don't understand how the script, how anybody could read the script and be like, yeah, let's have literally an hour where nothing happens.
Yeah, there's good like, oh look, there's 60 pages of nothing going on. Maybe something will happen in the last 30 pages.
I mean, they could have summed up the entire middle section of the movie as Ma is obsessed with them. Like, it could have been summed up in like 2 scenes. There's no reason to.
Yeah, because there's a whole thing. Where Ma is her character name. I think is Susie Lynn or
Suzanne.
Suzanne. Sorry, Sue Ann is her name.
Sue Ann.
Sue Ann is a woman who works. She's at she's like a clerical. Is that what the fuck is the word for that? A clerical?
She's like a vet assistant.
Yeah, right. Basically that. And she's working as a vet assistant. Then she befriends these kids, and then she just becomes obsessed. And then I realized watching, I was like, oh, this is A Nightmare on Elm Street. Basically, you know how Freddy looked up all the kids,
right,
people that killed him. She's looking up all the kids who happen to be all friends with each other, and have revenge on them. So. It's not like she's been in this town the whole time, right? She knows that fucking kid is the son of the guy who tricked her into blowing another guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like she could have done this 10 years before. Like, what was the specific action that happened? Like, she could have pulled this trick. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. This new girl. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. And then they put in, like, they were trying to be contemporary by putting in a subplot of this story it's a real story that's what the hell is it called?
Wait, I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
I think it's Munchausen by proxy. There's a show called The Act, which is based on a true story about this woman named Dee Dee Blanchard, who has a daughter named Gypsy, and she would inject her and shit and tell her.
Oh yeah, Munchausen's disease.
Munchausen by proxy. That's what it is, and that's they just injected that story. That by itself could have been a great horror film.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was done in, like, The Sixth Sense. Actually, that's like, oh, you know what? I don't want to ruin the show, but there's a show that came out recently where that was a plot line in there.
The Act? The show?
No, yeah, the Munchausen's thing is in a show.
It's a TV show called The Act. It's based on...
No, it wasn't called The Act. It was called...
The Flact.
cutting some little pieces. I don't know, something like that.
Oh, okay, I get it. I know what you Big Little Lies or something, right?
No, not that. Just keep talking. It doesn't matter.
So anyway, so they put that into this film, and it's like, for what? And as soon as I saw the daughter and she was being sick, I was like, you know what's gonna happen? It's gonna come at the end where Ma goes nuts, and then the daughter's gonna hit her over the head. And I was like, you know what? And then at the end of the movie, Ma goes nuts, and the daughter hits her over the head, and she falls downstairs. Like, wow! I was like, I couldn't see that coming. I don't believe that I predicted that. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because whenever you see a plot point like that could have been its own film, but no, they decided to inject it into a film that didn't need it, because it's like, you don't give a fuck about the teenagers that she hangs out with. Mm-hmm. You don't care about the main girl, Maggie. She's cute. That's all I cared about. She was a cute girl.
She's also like
very sexist.
So,
but
she's like 12.
Is she? How old is this girl?
I don't know.
I didn't say she was sexy. I said she was cute. So
that you did say she was cute. That's true. He did not say he was gonna have sex with her.
Wait, 1997. How old does that make somebody right now?
Oh no, that's fine. 22. Okay.
So
okay, good. I'm not a pest.
Now I want to. So the whole deal is that Ma starts to lose her shit. She has parties with these people, and then she starts stealing their jewelry. There's that one girl who fakes being passed out at parties because she's
or something. Yo, I knew a guy like that. I was telling my friend. There was this guy.
He just wanted to be groped or something.
There was this dude. He would go to parties, and we used to call him Mike Wears Shoes, because basically his name was Mike, and he would
bad band.
His name was Mike, and he would just stand. He was like, like a goth kid, which is like fine. We were all like goth kids, but he would just stand with his arms crossed and not smile and not talk. And he this was not at like big parties. This is like intimate friends of friends sort of parties. And he'd be just standing there, not talking the whole time, like staring at everybody, trying to look like a badass. And like, I remember one time,
badass.
Yeah, and I remember one time I was just seeing like, can I get him to be a normal? Can I get any reaction out of him? So I was singing "Mike Wears Shoes" or like something like that to him.
Oh God!
And then he became Mike Wears Shoes. But like, I don't know what happened to that kid, but he was weird. He would do that kind of shit.
On a rooftop somewhere with a fucking gun now.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I do the same things too. Like, I have friends that take me to like public places, and I stand there, not trying to look badass. I just look around because I look at places, and I look like I'm mentally deranged. My friend took me into this club at a techno club, right? And it's like a beautiful club. I'm like, wow, this club's great. And I'm just standing there, everybody else is dancing. She looked at me like I was like an insane person.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the whole plot is Ma gets revenge on everybody. Luca, the guy playing a guy that played a joke on her. And the thing is, everybody's so like, I guess it is like that. People who did something horrible to you when you're a teenager, you think they kind of just brush it off because they think you're normal and you're well adjusted, and you just try not to approach the subject, because everybody was nice with her, even though they didn't make her, but they tricked her into blowing a nerd. And they're just like, the guy playing her, I guess the guy that she had a crush on this whole time, he is played by Luke Evans, who is a good actor.
Ben.
And yeah, Luke Evans is this actor. I think he's a British guy, and he came out of the closet. He played you remember hearing that thing about the Universal Monster Universe or whatever they were trying to do with Tom Cruise with the Invisible Man and shit like that.
Okay.
That was actually the second try. The first time was with Dracula Unleashed, I believe it was called, starring him as Dracula. That was their first try, and it didn't make money, and then The Mummy didn't make money, so they just said, fuck it. Now we're going to make The Invisible Man with the guy who directed Saw making it. I think now it's with a woman, though, I think. And, like...
The Invisible Woman?
Yeah, I believe so. It's with this famous actress. She's from The Handmaid's Tale. I think that's her playing the lead.
Okay.
She's a good actor, so hopefully something interesting goes with that. But anyway, so he came out gay, and I think that really affected his career. I honestly do think, because that happens to actors, like their careers get fucked into.
There's a lot of gay actors. I don't see why it would.
But they gotta hide it, because what happens is, like, they have this fear that women will, like, there was a gay guy that was suggested for 50 Shades of Grey, and like, if they're afraid that a woman will be like, hey, this guy's gay, he's not fucking into women, and that'll like destroy their illusion of fantasy or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So it's sort of that deal, but I think he definitely got fucked, because he certainly is a very good actor. It's very above this fucking movie. Everybody's above this film, honestly.
Yeah.
And so she's obsessed with him, and his death scene is like she's pumping dog blood into him, and that's
I like that idea.
It would have been better if he actually turned into a dog or something. And
it's like a weird,
turned into a
supernatural. Well, I mean, it was just to keep him alive while she cut his wrist and stuff. But it wasn't.
He died, though. He died. Like,
well, because she doesn't know what she's doing, I guess. I don't know.
But she's like, anyway, so yeah, he dies, and then like she puts white face paint on the black kid.
You would die from getting dog blood in you, I think.
I assume that would happen. The one girl who gets her lips sewed.
Yeah.
That reminded me a little bit of
Strangeland?
shitty movie Strangeland. But then also automatically reminded me of this guy. This guy's like a real drama queen. He was this gay sort of performance artist, and I forgot what he was protesting. It must have been like against gay violence or something like that.
Don't tell me he sewed his mouth shut.
He did a video of him sewing his lips shut.
Ugh.
And his eyes are tearing up, and I'm like, what a mentally ill person.
Yeah.
Like, how does this stop? I don't think it was violence against gay.
People are like, you know what? I'm not going to be mean to gay people now because this guy sewed his mouth shut.
They might just be afraid a guy who's able to sew his mouth shut might try to kill him. That's why.
Yeah.
Maybe all gay people sew their mouths shut or something weird like that. But I got to look at that. I got to look that up before this end of this episode. But it's like... then they have this over-the-top... I wonder, the guy who played Stu, the gay co-worker, I wonder if that actor is gay in real life. Because he was so over-the-top gay in this film.
Dominic Burgess.
And then I wonder if they had like...
he's the guy... He's in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I knew I recognized him. He's the serial killer.
Which serial killer?
There's one episode in... There's one episode... Yeah, exactly. That guy.
That was a good episode.
I'm pretty sure that's who he is in that, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean like...
Oh, no, never mind. He's Psycho Pete. My bad.
Okay. So is that the guy who kills himself at the...
No, he's a guy that... they used to be friends with in high school.
Right, yes, I remember.
And they mentioned him many times, and then he finally gets back, and he's like, no, I was just depressed, and my family, and people started a rumor about me, and, like, they're so mean to him. It's very funny.
So anyway, I don't know what to say about this movie. It really
There's not much to say. We've talked about everything but the movie.
It's a tremendous bore fest.
If they had seriously... What?
The drag queen Barbie breakout sews her mouth shut for Russia in 2013. In wake of Russian, here we go. In wake of Russia's, I could have sworn it was a regular, like a guy who wasn't in drag doing this, but I guess I was wrong. In the wake of Russia's recent anti-gay legislation and violence, I'm not laughing at violence against LGBT people. I'm just trying to equate a guy sewing his mouth. I guess because they're forcing the gay people to shut their mouths up, that he's sewing them in protest. He just looks like a Looney Tune doing it.
That's like the same thing as people set themselves on fire and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you guys... this isn't stopping anyone, you guys.
So, yeah, look that up. Barbie break.
If you want to make a point by killing yourself, kill those people that are oppressing you before you kill yourself.
We do not condone killing. That's a joke that Daniel said. So also there was like stuff they lifted, just like The Act, they lifted off of a real life story. They also definitely lifted off a scene from Misery, the part where she sees that her statues of dogs are moved and shit, and I was like, that's a real Misery. Because then I'm looking at the trivia, it says a sequence involving Sue Ann noticing the porcelain cat statues had been moved is a homage to a similar sequence in the 1990 film Misery.
Well, she would tie pieces of her hair around things. That way, if it broke, she would notice the hair broke and somebody opened her drawer.
The role of Sue Ann was originally written for a white actress. Tate Taylor modified the script to better suit an African-American woman.
Her race is honestly irrelevant. It has nothing to do with it.
And that's the only thing where I was like happy with.
It doesn't get into race at all.
No, she's just a character. That's all it is, and which is great.
The only time it touches on is when she paints his face white and says there's only room for one of us.
Right, and there was another film that just recently came out. I don't know. It's so funny about that. Called Greta, which is about an older woman terrorizing a young girl. So this is essentially the same thing. And that movie went nowhere. Also, after he showed the script to Octavia Spencer, she expressed interest in playing the role. Blah blah blah. In one scene, Erica Juliette Lewis mentions that she's having a John Hughes movie marathon, which I thought was like, is she in any of his movies? Lewis had a part in a movie written by John Hughes. There you go. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I didn't see that one.
That's a good one.
So yeah, and to me, there's only one good part in this movie. Like, there's like good acting in it, but it's not enough to.
What's your good part?
And it has to be your favorite part too. Is the old lady at the nail salon?
Oh, I like that.
But the thing is, I'm watching it, and I'm like, is this a light-skinned black woman, or is it just like an old lady raised in the South?
I think it was just an old lady raised in the South.
But she sounds like a stereotypical, a bad version of a black woman. And she's like, ain't nobody want to hear your business. And it's like an old white lady doing this. And I was laughing my ass off. And then Octavia Spencer was like, whatever. And then she goes, bitch. And I fucking laughed. Like, that's the only good. I would have seen if Ma was.
I like some of the kills, but it took so long. That old
lady, that would be the greatest movie of all time. Yeah, I mean, and because they basically said, wait for it. For the.
It's very anticlimactic because
the kills happen 5 seconds in, and it's just like, who gives a fuck? Like, she kills 4 people. She kills a cop, just like Misery. She stabs. Oh, she doesn't stab.
The cop was the director, by the way.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So she killed the husband. She ran over Missy Pyle, the actor.
Michaela.
Yeah, Mercedes, you mean?
Oh, Mercedes, whatever.
Yeah, because I remember the joke because I always like Porsches. That's how I remember her name. But Missy Pyle is a good actor, and she's like sort of one of those actors you've seen everywhere. She's just playing like a horny slut in this movie, and I'm like, why'd she do this again? Maybe because it was the guy who did the Help or something. But she was in a really, really good movie with Penn Jillette called Director's Cut that we got to do. It's got to be one of the strangest fucking movies I've ever seen.
I definitely know her from something. I just can't.
Yeah, she's definitely in a lot of shit. And then who's the 4th person that got killed? Mercedes, Ben, Dr. Brooks.
Well, she stabbed the kid, Andy.
Okay, who was Ben?
Ben is the dad that she slit the dog blood.
I was going to say the ventriloquist. She killed the veterinarian.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? This movie sucked.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. What'd you think about it? Anything good?
I mean, I enjoyed when it finally started going. It was okay. But it was just so stupid. I don't know. It was a waste of time. It was honestly a waste of $16.
It really is a waste of money.
If I had spent $5 on it, I'd be like, all right, whatever.
It really is probably the worst that I've seen so far.
The one good thing is we smuggled in popcorn, so that was okay.
Oh, that's good. You should have thrown M&Ms in there. Anyway, so what rating would you give this film?
Like a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 pumping dog blood into the man who denied you his penis.
Yeah, I'd give this movie a 4 out of 10. Partially hanging a young teenage girl and then not hanging her. Well,
okay.
Who gives a shit about this movie? With that, Danny, what's the final word?
Denise.
The horror deconstruction.